Hey guys, it's Gail with PopCulture.com, and we are here with Bobby Bones.
Thank you. And
a plant.
A fake, I believe this is a fake plant. We're in my green room.
So we have to have green.
So there's one piece of green here. Yes, thanks for coming.
And I don't even know how to introduce you because you have like 7 different titles. So.
Well, here at the radio show, we can just go with the radio host.
Okay, radio host
Yes,
Bobby Bones. But we're
you.
going to talk about all the things. First of all, your partnership with Purina for National Service Dog Month. Why did you want to do that?
Well, on our show, we've worked with veterans for a long time for a lot of reasons, from building them houses to even buying them service dogs. And I had no idea that those service dogs cost $20,000 each.
Dude.
Just to get a dog, to train it, to do all of that. And so we've been working on the show for such a long time, because what happens is they go and they fight, or they're overseas and they come back and they're not equipped to live life without these dogs. And so we've kind of figured it out on the show, and our listeners jumped in and we started buying dogs. Well, Purina kind of has a similar deal going, so we kind of combined our forces, and they have a deal with Dog Chow where if you buy Dog Chow with a specially marked tag, like, it goes to help match them up with service dogs.
Wow.
So it's just kind of keeping in brand of what we're trying to do, and Purina's doing the same thing, and we're all trying to give back to those who go out and serve us, and we get to be free because of them.
Have you met anybody who has been partnered with a service dog because of this initiative?
Yeah, last week we were hanging out, and he flew in from California with his dog, and he had been one of the Clintons' bodyguards.
Wow.
And had seen a bunch of crazy stuff. And even if we were with him, even if he's in a crowded place and like somebody makes a loud noise, he's been trained to be hypersensitive at always being around and trying to see what's happening. And so for him, it startles him constantly. And so the dog is good for his anxiety, and also when he has nightmares, he was saying that the dog can feel it and gets up on him and lays on him, which I thought was wild. So everything he'd been training hard to do, you kind of have to untrain yourself, and it's not that easy once you get back. So yeah, a few, and again, we have dogs that we follow all the way through the training process on our show. So we find these dogs, and they named the last batch after all of us on the show. So we'll see like Raymundo and how he's going through training, and they end up matching him with a vet, and it's pretty awesome to see.
What kind of dog is Bobby?
Bobby's a lab,
Ooh.
so a smart dog.
Well-
I'm more of a mutt myself, but yeah, Bobby's a lab.
Speaking of smart dogs, nice segue. How's Stanley?
I don't know if he's that smart of a dog yet. I have a puppy, his name's Stanley, he's 5 months old right now, but he's tough. Bulldogs come out a little bit broken. I think all their inbreeding for hundreds and hundreds of years, just they come out and you gotta kind of rebuild them and fix them. He can't breathe with his tongue, he's got an eye issue, and he's got this charity thing growing over his eye, and the vet says, hey, we're not gonna fix it yet if it's not hurting him. So when he goes in to get neutered and have his breathing fixed, he's also gonna get his eye fixed. So he's gonna come out and everything's gonna be gone. And no ding dong, no tongue, no eyeball. But he's good. It's frustrating because those bulldogs, I never planned to get a bulldog, but I had a friend who reached out and was like, I got one bulldog left if you want him, and he's the crazy one, so we're having trouble with him. But man, they are so stubborn. They're so stubborn. So we're working through it. I sent him off to the dog camp, and he came back trained, and it's like a temporary tattoo. Like a week, he was good. And then after that, he's just like back to his old ways. So we're working. I take him on the road with me a lot. So we're touring, and we're doing the comedy shows. He comes out on the road, which is great just to make him tired for nothing else other than just to exhaust him. But he's great. I'm a single dad, so I'm back at it.
What do you do with him? You just talked about being on the West Coast off camera, but what do you do with him when you're flying back and forth so much?
I just have somebody stay at my house.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't put him away. I send him to a week of dog camp, but otherwise he just stays at my house. I have a friend come over and stay with him, and everybody wants him while he's a puppy. What I'm worried about is when he gets older and nobody wants to play with an older dog, who's going to stay at my house? But right now, I have no issues. Everyone wants to come in and puppy sit.
We will come puppy
Please,
sit
is that
also.
all the cameras, all of you guys.
We're taking
Yes.
recommendations. Okay, so American Idol. Let's go there because you talked about the West Coast. How excited are you? How nervous are you? New season, what are your thoughts?
It's my 3rd season being on the show since it's at ABC. And the first season I just went in and was only going to do 1 episode. And they said, hey, come in as a mentor, 1 episode, and that rolled over to 2. It ended up being like 4 that season, which I was like, wow, this is crazy. So they brought me back full-time last season, but I missed the very beginning of that show because I was still dancing on Dancing with the Stars. This is the first season that I'll be all the way in from the beginning, from the audition process. We actually go to Savannah, Georgia next week and start. So we haven't started yet, but I think we're 5 days away from taping for the first time. So me, Luke, Lionel, Katie, and Ryan will all be at all these stops. And what's cool about that is American Idol is the only show that goes out into the cities. You know, a lot of the other shows you have to go and audition and hopefully you get put through. But Idol, like we pack up our stuff and we go and make sure that people can get there. And I think that's why, you know, you get a lot of people with great stories. You know, and I think that's why I've been able to find a home on that show, is that a lot of these contestants, singers, whatever you want to call them, they have similar backgrounds to me where they wouldn't be able to afford to fly to Los Angeles to do an audition. And so they're able to make it in the first round with the producers. A place like Savannah, they could be from anywhere in the Southeast, drive there, and then once they get the golden ticket, they paid for it to go to Hollywood.
Sure.
And so for me, I'm excited because, one, I love the judges, and Luke and I are super close, and so it's good to be able to have a friend. Because a lot of times I do TV shows, I'm out there, and I'm the only, you know, guy from country music or from the middle of America, but I'm out there with Luke, and Ryan and I are pretty close. So, but Idol's fun because, again, you have people from all over the country that have, you know, done well in their own spots that maybe would have never got to go audition if it was in California.
And you mentioned Dancing with the Stars. I loved your tweet this morning or last night about when you were holding the mirror ball. Like, this is how I watch Dancing
So
with
many
the Stars.
people are still such haters that I won that show. Like,
We are not haters, by the way.
a little bit, I've moved a little bit, not all the way. It's still my greatest accomplishment.
It should be.
But I've kind of moved off of talking about it all the time. But people are still, every time the show comes on, just full of venom. And so last night is the first time I'd ever watched the show from my house in my life. I'd either been on the show
Right.
or I was at the premiere last week. And so I wanted to watch Lauren and Elena, who I talk to every day because she's going through the process. And she was like, what do I do? And so they would not stop everybody's being douches. And so I took my mirror ball, I took a picture of it in my bed. And I was like, this is how I watch it. I put my top hat on from the finale. I was like, this is how I watch it. So it's pretty fun. I get nervous to watch Lauren dance.
More nervous than when you danced?
No.
Okay.
No, but sometimes I would take Xanax, so that would help me. But yeah, I get nervous for Lauren because I'm kind of, like, I feel responsible that she has a good time. You know how if you take somebody to a movie and you go, this movie's great, let's go to the theater and watch it.
Yes,
And the whole time
yes.
it's hard to enjoy the movie because you're like, I hope they're enjoying it. I hope they're enjoying it. I feel like that with Lauren Elena because she performed on last season and I said, Lauren, you got to do this show. Like, regardless, good or bad, what you've heard about it, it's a great experience and you get to train with a professional. You get paid. You get to be on TV. My social media was flying. I didn't think I was going to win at that point. I didn't know. But I was like, you got to do the show. So after I won, I just stayed on her. And Lauren and I are close and stayed on her. And then finally she was like, I think I'm going to do it. And so when she finally committed, I was like, I will be there. I will go to the first episode. I'll go to the last episode. And anytime you need me, you call me. And which, by the way, she does.
She does.
A lot.
She does.
Yeah.
She's crushing it, though.
Yeah,
I mean, she
she's
did
actually
great
better
last
than
night.
Yeah, she's pretty athletic. She's never danced before, but she's catching it a lot quicker than I did. I still haven't caught it. I'm still waiting for it. But I think she has a chance to win. It's her, Hannahby, and Vanderbeek, who I think are really the three to beat. So it'll be interesting to see.
Would you do it again?
Oh, no,
You-
God. There's nothing I can do. Like, I can't do any better than what I did.
Sure.
And so, and that was a nice little chapter of my life. If they called and said, hey, we're doing trio week, and Lauren's like, I would just really like for you to do it, I would consider it only if it were Lauren. Just to go do it, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm tapped out.
All right, Lauren, Trio
Yeah.
Week. Call Bobby.
I don't even know if they're doing trio week. But if she called and said, please do it with me, I would consider it. But just to go do it now, I'm danced out.
That's a good friend.
I would do it for her.
All right. Okay, so I talked to you a couple years ago. I think it was ACM Honors Carpet, maybe, and you said you're not famous. Are you famous now? Because, I mean...
I don't even, here's the thing about fame. I don't even know what that really means anymore. I think it's 2019 now. Even go back 10 years ago, there were really, there was like a layer of famous people. And everybody knew who they were. Now, everybody's famous to somebody. Because we're all following people on Instagram or watching YouTube or watching a series on Netflix that none of our friends know, that we think that's super cool. Like, I listen to podcasts and, like, would you know who the guys are from Pardon My Take, the podcast?
No.
Okay, they're famous to me
Okay.
because I think they're hilarious. So I would say that I'm famous to some people, but I don't think I'm famous. It's tough to be just universally famous, but everybody's famous to somebody. I would imagine there are people that follow you who think, oh wow, she's the girl from popculture.com, that you're famous to someone. So I think my answer is I think we're all famous to somebody. That fame is such a weird thing now. I'm definitely more known.
Is your celebrity status weird to you? Or are you comfortable
I just
with
don't
it now?
feel like I'm, like, I was in Las Vegas this past weekend for iHeartRadio Music Festival, and I'm just walking by myself down the street, going from the event. And a guy stops me and goes, you walk by yourself? And I was like, when do I not walk by myself? I don't know. So the fame thing is weird because nobody really cares. And if I can, like, I can do this. I can take off my glasses. Nobody knows who I am. And if it's that easy to go from famous to not famous, then you're not famous at all. If I can pull off there are people that work here in this building, I take my glasses off, they don't know who I am.
Wow.
So it's not.
Okay.
So
All
my
right.
answer would be, I'm not famous, but it's super hard to be universally famous these days.
Okay, what about politics?
I mean, I'll do it eventually.
Okay.
It's a weird thing. It's weird now because I used to talk about it all the time. And now I'm actually talking about it less because it's getting more serious.
Because you said you're for sure going to do it.
I think, what's for sure, right? Right, but yeah, sure. I've stopped talking about it as much because there have been literal extensions from the body to go, hey, would you consider running in 3 years? And that's pretty much all I'm going to say at this point because I don't really know what I'm going to do. Probably not. 13% that I would do it in 3 years.
13%. Okay. How about more books?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't have anything. Like we're working on a kid's book right now, the idea of a kid's book. And for me, the idea is to be more inclusive with everyone, meaning I was picked on a lot, and so I think I would want to write a book about how we're all different. And I do have the idea already. And the main character is a guy who is definitely different, but ends up being celebrated for what made him different. Because I think that's what happens even as adults. You know, our whole life we're trying to be the same. We're trying to just fit in. But then we later find out that what actually made us different was the most valuable thing about us. And I think that's a real growing process. And so it's mostly that the idea that we have now and that I have is about a character who's very different, but in the end, what made him different and what people were picking on him at first for was actually the reason that he was so awesome. And so that's the message, that it's not just kids, that I try to even share with adults, or like I'm speaking at a university next week. And it's kind of that universal message, but if I can talk, and kind of work on the younger culture, I think that ends up manifesting itself into where we are today.
I love that. So what I find so interesting about you is you're so honest and open on social media. Everybody knows who you are from one facet or
I don't
another.
know about everybody, but I'll take it for this.
TV shows,
Go
country
ahead.
music,
Go
radio
ahead.
show. And you're like, I want a girlfriend.
I know, right?
He's so honest.
I was talking with a friend last night. We had dinner, and she was like, "What's up? Like, why don't you have a girlfriend?" And so I pulled out my phone, and this is all my fault, by the way. This is not a woe is me. I pulled out my phone and said, "Here's my calendar. I have got myself to a point where I'm in a different city every week. Like I was only in town. We could do this today because I'm leaving in tomorrow to go to New York to do John Party's album premiere in New York and do some stuff with Purina. And then I head to Savannah, Georgia, and then we go to Milwaukee. So it's my fault. I have this need to still prove something to myself and to everyone else to keep going. And I get home for a day, and I've not built any sort of, friendship circle or girls that I could be dating. And I go, wow, I'm so lonely. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to feel this way, so I'm just going to keep working. So it's a bad cycle that I have to break. But I'm working through it, but I'm super single.
All right, he's super single.
I'm super
He's
single.
super single. All right, do you think you do all this stuff because of your childhood? Because you're like, I want to keep going. I don't want to stop.
I think I'm trying to prove something to me and to everyone. And I'm in therapy right now. I have a new therapist. We're working on that. So, yeah, I don't really know what I'm trying to prove quite yet. But I think part of it is I do want the younger generation to see somebody who came from really humble beginnings and they actually can make it too. Like that inspires me to inspire people. Because, again, I came from a food stamp family with just a mom who was an addict. And so I feel like if I can make it, really anybody can if they put in the time. And I bet I'm wired to just work hard because I've had to do that my whole life. I'm not supremely talented. I'm not super tall. I can't play sports. I'm not super funny. But what I do is I just show up and I work. And I think that's missing a bit with the younger generation. Everybody's trying to be an Instagram star or because it looks easy, and it's not. And so for me, I'm just going to keep working and hopefully inspire others to do the same.
Perfect. That's all I need.
Oh, great.
For more on Bobby and all your other favorite artists, please visit popculture.com.
Yeah, please do.